So, I just got back from seeing Blair Witch 3, I guess. 3. Um, there might have been a comic book as well back in the day. This was, yes, considerably better than Book of Shadows. Yes. Blair Witch 3 is the 2016 movie directed by a similar film crew to the first one, but with an actual budget. So they were able to basically address all of the issues with the first one being sort of a found footage. One of the first movies to popularize the found footage genre. The idea that they're being, oh, they found the tapes of what they'd recorded before the demon got them or whatever. And this movie playfully enjoys messing with that in every way. They all of the things are addressed in it, such as the battery life of the battery cameras and stuff would have gone out a long time ago. The stuff like that. So they have plenty of cameras and batteries and some old mini DV cameras, which are old now, but mini DV was what we recorded most of our early parody stuff on our makeshift studio kind of thing. So yeah, I was familiar with mini DV cameras, and although the film was untransferable later on when technology by 2010 or so updated, and then you just couldn't use your mini DV camera anymore. So I'm wondering how they're able to transfer any of that footage. But so I had made digital copies before for it. Making Blu-ray editions of our early parodies would be really difficult because all we have is the digital prints, not the original masters. Yeah. So, but there were Transformers and Robotech stuff, so it's probably all right. You can see them online. Also, we did some Blair Witch stuff. Back in 1999, this hit movie comes out, and we did a Blair Witch parody. Everybody was doing it. I mean, everybody. Like, I was one of 5 people out there the night of filming it in 1999, around Halloween, doing a Blair Witch parody. There were like 3 or 4 other... You can watch most of that footage online on the channel. On Location Cat reviews too, it's on there, and you can watch the sequel that I made. I did a Book of Shadows parody in 2014. So, so yeah, I've done lots of parodies of it. I decided to make it an alien at the end, which was funny. Because it kind of was an alien at the end of the original remake. It was a Transformer. So this one, it was marked cards. And he shows up as an alien, spouting lines from various other things, including Paul Masson and Henry Orson Welles and stuff, and and thinking the alien glowing sphere tastes like strawberries. Yes, it was a very interesting couple nights of filming there for that one. Yeah, this one was, but enough about my parodies. This is just giving you backstory about, I've done it a lot. So yeah. One caveat of this film is that now there's another one. Maybe we'll do another one, but we'll see. This is a remake. It's a soft reboot of the original story of the Blair Witch Project, where the whole premise and the whole hype from 1999 was, oh, they were all killed, and this was their footage. That was the gimmick. Of course, those of you that have seen stuff like Cannibal Holocaust know full well that that genre has been going on since the 70s, and they really weren't killed. They were clearly there. A lot of Faces of Death was also the same thing, you know, like the electric chair scene, that was fake. That was definitely fake. The actor showed up later and said how he did it. But in Blair Witch, for instance, the Blair Witch Project was done under a very low budget, so they were able to make all of their money back in spades. It made 10 times that what they filmed it with, and in 90s dollars. So there you go. the beginning of the mini DV craze. And they were using 16 millimeter print cameras and 8 millimeters, and I was familiar with those. And there's no way that the battery packs in that first movie would have lasted more than half an hour. So they all would have been screwed. They would have half an hour of footage of them running around. Yeah, that totally wouldn't work. This one, they would have had mini DV tops an hour of footage on each charge. They kept indicating they were able to recharge stuff. So there might have been a mini generator with them in this remake. But yeah, that's all the technical stuff. It was filmed better than the original Blair Witch Project, which actually made you nauseous from not only the music, but the motion sickness thing. Also, if you're afraid of the darkened woods, you would be really freaked out by these movies, because, oh, it's the dark and scary woods with things going on in the background. And it's like, yeah, the dark and scary woods don't really do anything to me. No, been out of the woods. It's like, no, I can tell what things are, usually. Yeah. So, yeah, the movie, that impact of the movie didn't really, these movies didn't really do anything for me. But, yeah. But if you're like the guy on Stone Gremlin Productions that reviewed the movie, you're scared of the woods, and that makes it even worse. But yeah, it's not a great sequel remake. It's not as bad as the critics are saying. It's not 34% on Rotten Tomatoes. Come on, it's not that bad. It's about half, maybe a little more than half good, I guess. 50%. It's probably worth a rental on Halloween by the time it comes out. Watching it in the background. It's okay. Yeah. It had moments though. There were moments that were actually kind of cool. They had not so much the jump scares, which they imply in the story immediately. Oh, quit doing that. The guy even says that. The lady says that. Quit doing those jump scares. But yeah, as a horror movie, as a found footage horror movie, it does all the right things, and it's a genre, so why not? And yeah, I'm not saying I'm gonna start making part 3 now because this has come out, but I was thinking of part 3. I watched my part 2 last night. Yeah. And I don't really know if it needs a third sequel in my case, because that's like, what would they do? Just be in the haunted spaceship the whole time? In my version, it's a spaceship, because of course it is. In this version, it's a haunted house. So the last 20 minutes of the movie is a haunted house. So the first, as opposed to in the original movie where it was like 5. Yeah, the characters themselves are rather unlikable. So, snarky college students. So it's like, yeah, you're kind of rooting for the witch to get them within the first, 20 minutes or so. And, this is messed up. They kept thinking, when are they going to kill the token black dude? They're always going to kill that. They always got to kill that, do that. They actually waited a while to kill him. They always do that. Or the couple always dies or something. There's probably going to be spoilers in the review because the review is, the movie. So there may be minor spoilers and things like that. Do they show the witch or whatnot, and do they do the other stuff? And yeah, I won't give it away what the witch is, but they do a lot more of it than they did in the first one, in which they didn't show anything. They show her about as long as they show Mark's cards in my parody. 10 minutes or so. So you get versions of her running around for 10 minutes. So yeah, you definitely get to see the person. Yeah. The apparently this one was filmed in Canada. I don't know where the other one was filmed, in British Columbia. This one was better effects. It had a drone, which they used in the beginning, which would have been kind of useless. It gets stuck in a tree at one point, and one of them has to climb up and get it. We were like, why don't you just leave it up there? She had like a bum foot. It's like, okay. Yeah, there were some gross effects with the foot that come up 3 or 4 times. I won't give all of that away. But gross is not scary. Gross is just gross. Yeah, it was really gross. The gross special effect. Simple, gross special effect with a twig thing and some other stuff. But it's like, yeah, I liked that they were able to pull that off as a simple sort of effect thing. But yeah, it was not nearly as scary as the first one. No. The haunted house part was probably the most effective. The doors closing and locking on them, trapped in there. The attic is the basement, and it's like time warp inside, and they have to climb into the tunnel, because of course they have to climb into a tunnel, because I mentioned it earlier. And if you've seen this channel, if you've seen my version, I had them climbing around in a tunnel in my movie 2 years ago. So, there you go. I did. And Clint Cowpoke, he had like the lightsaber in the tunnel so he could light his way around, which he found on the ship. But yeah, so it's a jungle gym that was filmed at night, but it's creepy and alien looking. So yeah, ooh, the Blair Witch. And we did stuff with time warp and time travel as well, like this movie did. This movie tried to explain that a little better by having the two antagonists show up after they'd run off and been caught faking some of the stuff. They said 5 days had gone by, when actually it would be more like 2. And they were spazzing out. Later on, the guy and the girlfriend go to the house, the haunted house, which they find, and they have a scene, spoilers. He goes in after his sister. You would think that, because his sister was apparently lost during one of the expeditions. They do hint at Book of Shadows that it happened. They do, yeah, the sequel is canon. But that it happened differently. In fact, they do a different twist on Book of Shadows in the house. I don't know if the guy... I don't think Stone Gremlin's guy mentioned this. I think he kind of offhandedly did. But yeah, they totally went there with that. I won't give that away either. But if you've seen the sequel, oh, did they kind of they did. They did what they did in that one, but a little differently. It was enough of a twist that you didn't see it coming, which was good. It wasn't a twist like Shyamalan. If it was an M. Night Shyamalan twist, it would have been like, okay, the bad guys are the two guys, but it's supernatural. Duh. Which would have been stupid. Or it would have been the black guy, because of course. Even though it wasn't the black guy. Yeah. Book of Blair Witch 3. Yeah, so... Okay, there were some scenes that were confusing to some of the critics out there. They were showing a lot of light playing in through the house, the haunted house, through the slats in the wood. The house kind of like burnt and old and mysterious and stuff. And there was like light playing in, and there was an implication that was sunlight out there. But it was unnatural light. The light was really bright, not like sunlight is, but through old slats of a house, but more like an unnatural, ethereal sort of realm. They were sort of in another dimension. Ghost light is kind of what it was. Dimensional light. Yeah, so it wasn't sunlight, so they weren't in daylight at any point. Actually, I suspect that once they spent the night, they were actually in the other dimension the whole time. That's my theory. And that, which is kind of like the Book of Shadows, and that they were, that the whole thing was done over the course of that one evening, and they just didn't know it. And even though the other ones were claiming to have faked some of it, they weren't. They were entirely under the purview of whatever creature was doing this to them. All of them were. The ones that were less aware were found out later. Of course, that theory falls apart when they get in the house. Everything gets all weird. Time tunnels and things like that. Because they, of course, watched the Clint Cowpoke one and said, well, we can't have a lightsaber in this. That's stupid. How about it's just light shining through the house? Oh, okay. But we can't have them disappear and reappear. Do that. Have them look away. That should be the tagline for part 3. Look away. But yeah, apparently the witch's power is she gets you if you look at her. Which if they had cameras, you'd think she would stop them. And then throw away all the footage. And also, you'd think that that'd be... If she's already got them in her like lair from the very beginning, which they kind of imply, then you don't have a movie because they're all already in wherever perdition or hell or whatever it is. And they're already there, so why torture them? Other than just, you're in hell, I'm going to torture you now. It's like, kind of pointless. But okay, yeah, she showed up as... I won't give it away, because that's the one thing that was kind of cool. But yeah, the found footage thing just doesn't really freak me out, so... Okay. But yeah, I guess the woods could be scary in the dark and all that stuff, but to some people... I think the crawl space was creepy. They had the crawl space story in there. They did the Coraline thing a little bit. But yeah. Yeah, I can't really give away too much more of it, because then it would give it away. Oh, yeah, Blair Witch 3? They're calling it Blair Witch. It's sort of a reboot. Yeah, the actors were interviewed after the movie, so they were not trying to make it look like it was a snuff movie and they were all dead. No, they weren't. The actors in the original Blair Witch Project and the sequel went on to play in other movies. The lead actress from the first Blair Witch Project played in a mini-series called Taken, about aliens. And of course, that's what we're spoofing in the part 2 as well. But yeah, we had nothing to do with these. We were doing parodies of these. So yeah, but those actors later ended up doing other. And these actors were interviewed, and the director were interviewed just now on Rotten Tomatoes and some other websites. So they didn't die. It's not billed as that. This is a remake. Nobody died in the original either, or in the sequel. That was all made up. But yeah, you probably figured that out by now. It's a Saturday. It was almost a 12:40 show. There were 9 of us in the audience, so that's not good. It just came out. So yeah. So maybe the later showings will have more people. But yeah, there was more of them in Snowden earlier. Anyway, so yeah, if the Blair Witch was in Snowden, that would be interesting. A little bit Twin Peaks going on there. Like suddenly I'll just kind of go... And then, yeah. It's coming up!